Let's talk about choir, choir, choir. Hi, I'm a music teacher and this is my life. Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and welcome for those of you who might be new here. If you saw my Instagram story over on my Music Teacher Life's account last weekend, then you may already know that last Saturday I was attending a concert at the National Arts Center. Well, today I'm going to be giving you a very quick but as detailed as possible review of my first time attending a choir concert and whether or not I think you should attend a performance of theirs. But before we jump in, be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe to the channel so that you are up to date on upcoming content here, and be sure to follow at My Music Teacher Life over on Instagram so you're also up to date on any content that gets posted over there. So who exactly is choir? I'm going to read you the description that they have on their website. It says, David Goldman and Nobu Adelman, aka Dabu, started choir in Toronto as a weekly drop-in singing event in February of 2011. Equal parts singing, comedy, and community building, the duo now travel around the world to bring friends, foes, and strangers together to sing the greatest songs of all time. All you have to do is show up and they'll teach you your parts. So to give you a little bit more information here, David's main roles include, of course, singing, but he is also a guitarist. And so he is the only instrumentalist on stage while this concert is happening. So he is accompanying the entire room on his guitar while singing. What Nobu does, or Dabu, what he will do is he will sing and direct the audience through some of their parts. Now, he doesn't direct in the way that maybe I would direct a choir, because I normally conduct in a beat pattern, which is things like 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2. The way that Nobu will direct is he'll use, I guess, simpler gestures, which makes sense because you can have a range of skill levels in the audience. So he'll do things that I might use while teaching a young choir. So things like this. So he'll do something like this so they know where it's going. And so that visual cue will really help the audience members as they're learning the parts. So Nobu will sing and direct while David is singing and playing all of the guitar accompaniment on his own. What the two of them essentially do is they end up making a choir out of the entire audience. Most of the songs are in two-part harmony, but for the final song, which was Leonard Cohen's Alleluia, they actually divided everyone up into 3 different sections. And they teach us all of the parts. They have us run through it a few times, and they have lyrics up on stage in different colors and also in different parts of the screen. So it's very clear which lyrics are meant for group 1, group 2, and sometimes group 3 as well. This performance was also part of their, and I'm just going to read the title of the tour here, their Alleluia, an EPIC Anthems Sing-Along. And the theme was based on songs that often connect people of all different backgrounds, walks of life, ages, etc. And what was really special about this tour performance was that it was performed on what would have been Leonard Cohen's 90th birthday had he been alive. So it was a really special event, and a lot of people were excited to be there, particularly on Leonard Cohen's birthday. Some of the songs that were featured were, of course, Leonard Cohen's Alleluia, which was the feature anthem, but also some other ones that were a big hit were Joni Mitchell's Big Yellow Taxi and Stevie Wonder's I Just Called to Say I Love You, and of course, I Would Walk 500 Miles. The audience loved that one. It was so much fun, and the whole concert was around 2 hours, no intermission. So what was my experience like at a choir concert? Well, if I'm being completely honest, when I went to the concert, I had a little bit of a scratch in my throat, and this was on a Saturday night. I actually ended up getting quite sick Monday. Still went to work, wore a mask, all those things, but I ended up getting really sick. So when I went to the concert, of course, I made sure that I was drinking water and I was using lozenges, and you can sort of hear in my voice that I'm still getting over being sick. So that may have affected my experience compared to others' experiences. The concert started off with a really fun song. It was Shania Twain's I Feel Like a Woman. And what was interesting here was that it was just the music video playing on screen with lyrics. And David and Nobu ended up coming out and dancing on stage during the song, which really got the energy going. Everyone was up on their feet, dancing and singing. And it actually ended up being a little bit of a warm-up, right? Everyone was dancing and moving their bodies, having fun, and they were using their voices, again, in a fun way to a song that most people had already known. So that was a great way for the audience to warm up both physically and vocally. Most of the time for the concert, we were actually standing at our seats as we were learning the parts. Some people would sit down whenever they were speaking up on stage or when they were teaching the other parts. So for example, if I was singing part 1 and they had already finished teaching our group and they went to part 2, I and some others may have sat down as they were speaking, but most people ended up standing during the singing portions of the concert. It's safe to say that I had never experienced a concert like this before, and I had a lot of fun. Now keep in mind, this is also a concert where I have never seen the performers before. This was my first time attending a concert of theirs. I'm going with my voice not feeling 100%. And on top of all that, I went to the concert by myself because I really wanted to go. So I was really, really happy with the experience. I ended up having a lot of fun at this performance. The two of them are really dynamic and they make a lot of funny jokes along the way. Now, fair warning, if you're someone who goes to maybe concerts or say stand-up comedy shows and you don't want the people on stage to poke fun at you or talk to you or, any of those things, I would suggest not sitting in maybe the front 5 or 6 rows. They did it in a very fun way because it was an all ages event. So they knew that there could be families there, such as, teenagers, kids, and others as well. So it never went anywhere inappropriate and it was always lighthearted and fun. But fair warning, if you don't want to be pointed out, maybe sit further back or up in the balcony. That's where I was. One of the most impressive things about this concert was David's ability on the guitar. He is a phenomenal guitarist. You can tell that he's really practiced and worked hard on his technique to get to this skill level because his strumming patterns matched every song perfectly. He's able to modulate and change keys quickly. And there was actually a really fun game that we played. So Nobu actually had a friend in the audience whose birthday was coming up. And so Nobu said, we're going to play a game. We're all going to sing happy birthday to, I forget his friend's name, but we're all going to sing happy birthday to my friend here. And David is going to play a game called Find the Key. We're all going to start singing and David needs to find the key in which we're singing happy birthday by the time we're finished. And he ended up finding the key, no problem. And so you can tell that David's worked really hard on this skill. And so that was just awesome. It was impressive, especially considering that he was the only instrumentalist on stage and he was the only person accompanying the entire room of thousands of singers, including the audience and Nobu. What I also really loved about this concert was that they really placed an emphasis on the importance of being in the moment and present, and that there was a real sense of community there. During Leonard Cohen's Alleluia, as we were learning it, a lot of people were trying to take their phones out as we were getting ready to sing it through for the first time and for the last time as well. We sang it twice all the way through. And they were even telling people like, hey, it's very rare that you're ever going to be in the same room with thousands of people singing Leonard Cohen's Alleluia on his birthday. Like, don't be on your phone right now. Put your phone away. Let's just be in the moment. Let's be present. Let's share in this amazing moment together. And it's so profound, and yet it's so true, because it's very rare that thousands of people will all be in the same place, pay money, get dressed up, pay for transportation or parking or whatever, and go out in public with complete strangers that they may never end up seeing again and actually recognizing them for the purpose of just one event. And in this case, music really is something that brings people together. And so I loved that community emphasis that they placed on the event. And that was really special. I think that's one of the things that I love the most about music, is that it's just so profound that people would all be in the same space to make music together, having possibly very little else in common. Now, my one pet peeve, if I'm really being nitpicky, and this probably is just the choir director in me, but when we were learning Leonard Cohen's Alleluia, there's a small section in the lyrics where, as they're teaching it, the words are name in vain. And when you have a diphthong, that's two adjacent vowel sounds connecting, it's really, really important that, especially if you're singing in a large group of people, you want to sustain the first vowel sound for a longer period of time before going to the second one. So if I were to teach a choir to sing the words name in vain, I would have them sing vain, right? Name in vain. What Nobu sang was name in vain. And it just sounds really nasal. So name in vain versus name in vain. Maybe it's just my musical ear, but it was driving me a little up the wall. And to be fair, again, that's just the music director in me. It was still a wonderful experience. If that's the only negative I have in terms of the concert, I think overall, that's not bad. But if you're out there, guys, that's the one thing I would correct. Otherwise, it was really, really fun and great. And one other funny thing that I thought was really fun was that after the concert, you know me, you know that this semester I'm working at 2 different schools. And one of the science teachers came by my classroom one morning and she said, "Hey, so one of the English teachers and I, we saw you at the concert on Saturday." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you did? I had no idea you were there." Turns out that they saw me in the parking garage after the concert as they were leaving. They were already in their car, but they were like, "Yeah, we didn't think we should roll down the window and say hi." But, you know, it's just so funny that sometimes it really is a small world. So what are my final thoughts? Would I go see choir again? Absolutely. Like I said, they're funny, they're engaging. It's 2 hours where I get to sing, and I'm not a choir director, so I get to kind of go back into student mode where I get to have a lot of fun and sing all of these great songs. Absolutely, I would go. And even though it was known as the Alleluia, an EPIC Anthem tour, it was all secular music, so it wasn't really offensive in any way to any one religious group, because I know sometimes when people see the word anthem and Alleluia, they automatically think, or they may think, that it's going to be a Christian focused concert experience, but it really wasn't. So I think anyone who loves music and singing could go to this kind of event. All ages, all backgrounds, everyone's welcome, regardless of their singing skill level as well. And the other thing I recommend you do is, if you've never been to the National Arts Center in Ottawa, I highly recommend you go because it is a beautiful venue. I had been there once before and it was for a concert. This was years ago, pre-pandemic, but it really is a beautiful venue and all of the staff there are incredibly helpful, whether you're looking for your seat, your washroom, if you're not sure what stairs to go up or down, the parking area. Everyone's extremely helpful and kind, and they also serve the public in both English and French. So whether you speak English or not, there may be someone there who can help you, but they're all extremely friendly and helpful, which is great if you are new to a venue because it's extremely warm and welcoming. The sound and lights team are also incredible. Anytime that David or Nobu needed maybe a monitor to be adjusted or the lighting to be changed, it happened immediately. And the two of them actually complimented the tech team on their professionalism and their ability to work with them on the fly like that. So props to the folks who work behind the scenes at the National Arts Center as well, because the people who are doing the things behind the scenes, that's the kind of work where you really don't notice it unless something goes wrong. If things are seamless and perfect, that means that they're very, very good at their jobs. So overall, yes, I would highly recommend that you go see choir. If you are interested in going to a concert where you are the performer, you want 2 hours of singing, you can go with your friends. All skill levels, all ages are welcome. The tickets aren't that expensive, but I must admit that I was gifted my ticket by a friend of mine from church, so I was very, very grateful for that experience. Choir on most social media platforms, I think, is known as Choir Times 3. So I will be sure to leave in the description box below the handle that they use. I am not partnered with Choir to say any of these things. They have no idea that I'm making this video. They don't know who I am. but I just wanted to give a review because I think that it was a great experience. And even though they've been around since 2011, I'll be honest, I had never heard of Choir before. Maybe because they're from the Toronto area and I never grew up or ever lived in the greater Toronto area, but absolutely, it was so much fun. If you're someone like me, I guess, or even if you're not, if you love singing and you love the community aspect, if you love learning new songs and maybe some songs that you've heard before, but you're singing them in a new way, then yeah, I'd say go see Choir. Thanks so much for watching this video. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, give us a follow over on Instagram, and I will leave in the description box below, like I say, the handle for the Choir guys. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and I will see you right back on this channel very soon. Bye.